to not drip within days.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, this was cut about a month ago, and you can see that it's kind of dried up.
There was a school of thought at one time that you cut those at an angle to keep it from dripping on the bud.
To keep them from dripping on the bud?
Make it drip away from the bud.
I don't know. We've never.
Yeah. Well, you get your first $1 million lawsuit about that. That probably changes everything, huh?
So you can see where we cut last year. This was last year's spur cut here. So we got 1, 2 coming out of that. Now even though this one's obviously stronger because it's thicker, I don't like it there because if we cut 2 buds there, these are gonna be growing into this location. So we would cut this off.
Yeah, at the base, huh?
Yeah. And then we would take this one. Now here, I think I'm going to count both of those little buds there and cut that there. Again, we've got a fork here. We don't want both of them. I think I would keep this one because it's stronger.
Yeah, I think it's gonna
cut that one off.
Wow.
Okay.
Same thing with these two, very close together. Huh?
Right. I think I would keep this one because it's pointing up.
Yeah.
Cut it here. Get rid of this one.
Yeah. Gotcha.
But now, okay, you're going to get growth out of this here, right? Later on?
Well, we might get that bud may push.
So you just rip it off?
So later in the season, we would come through and break that off.
Okay, to answer my next question. So during the year, you want to try and keep this
clean.
Thing clean.
Yeah, right. Sometimes, like here, if you look here, let's prune this one.
Sometimes it's good to leave only one bud because that certain position may only have enough to get one good.
Here's a nice big blank, which we don't like to see because, remember the one hand. So if during the season, if something were to push here, we would probably leave it. Not because we're trying to get crop there this year, but because we want another growth position for next year.
So something is possible to come out of somewhere?
Yeah, maybe like down under here.
Okay. And conversely, if something's coming out here, you would want to
clean it up. Yeah, exactly.
Would the greater stress that the vine is under create more growth points on it?
It can, because vines are trying to reproduce, right? To personify it, if you will. So they're trying to reproduce. So if they're under stress, sometimes they will, instead of having,
big enough.
Find an example.
I would leave it at 2 buds.
What you'll see is it may not cause a bud to push here, but the internodes, the space between these buds on the canes will get shorter. You'll get shorter shoots, but you'll get many buds along here because it's trying to produce growth points for next year.
Down here
so
is a mess. You want to clean that up.
Now what about the end?
So the end is, look at how, this is another thing about grapes. Grapes like to grow laterally, so they have a terminal, it's called terminal dominance. Terminal dominance and apical dominance. So this cane here was really strong because what this vine is trying to do is grow tall, okay? This one's really strong because the vine's also trying to grow laterally. These things are trying to spread out so they can drop their fruit and regenerate themselves, not, like the apple falling close to the tree, right? The grape is trying to spread itself out and reproduce. So there tends to be lots of vigor here and lots of vigor here. And so here, now these vines are getting close together. I think I would cut this right here. This is the bud I like. This is the bud I don't like. But the vine is going to push hard here, and this is pushing down. So it's going to actually be a sink for some of the energy of the vine. If we left only this one and cut it here, you're going to get a massive cane growing here. So this is the one we want. This is the one we're going to keep fruit on. This is going to grow down, and we'll probably end up cutting that off later after some of the energy's gone into it. We don't want these to get too close together because these are going to be vigorous growth spots, and we don't want to have a big mass of foliage there.
So similarly, during the year, you're going to keep the ends kind of trimmed tight. And
Yeah, we want, you know, 6 to 12 inches between the ends of vine.
How many times a year do you end up coming in and working? And is it a constant process? It sounds like
it's well, as far as the handwork goes, after pruning, we'll come in and after the shoots are about this tall, we'll come in and do this crown suckering or shoot removal. There are different ways of calling it that, and then we will also move the wires up, and then a little bit later, after the canes are taller, we'll end up tucking them in. We'll leave some out, but we'll tuck them in here. Sometimes, generally here, tucking works more quickly, but sometimes these wires will actually be removed from the notches and brought out here like this to catch the foliage, and then reattach them to one of these other notches to push it in.
Pretty good system, isn't it?
It works pretty well, yeah.
Isn't it fair to say, Dave, that some of you guys are on the ranch more or less permanently from about end of February until harvest in September, October?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
Not just in this vineyard. We have other vineyards further on in the ranch, and so there are things going on, different varieties, different growth rates. There are things going on all parts of the ranch, and you know, we come through and we spray sulfur for mildew control, and so that happens every couple of weeks generally during the growth season. Irrigation will happen 3 times a week once we get into the warm weather.
3 times a week?
Yeah.
How much water are you doing there?
4 to 6 gallons each time.
Per plant?
Per plant.
We use, some of you are familiar with the term acre feet. We use on an annual basis something like 1/3 of an acre
Per acre.
per acre. Yeah. So it's not that bad. I mean, in a pear, or should you use 4 feet?
3-4 feet, yeah.
So it's not more. And the older they,
36 inches per year.
the older they get, the less they get. I mean, the line can go down 20 feet.
Wow. So the water goes down.
Right, it'll chase the water. Absolutely.
Particularly in this vineyard here.
And different rootstocks will do different things. So some of them are meant to be deep water-seeking rootstocks. So in poor soil conditions where you have lots of gravel and well-drained, you put in rootstocks that may go down 10 or 12 feet, and they will keep going until they find the water.
They'll come with the water. The water goes down and comes down with it.
Right.
What kind does that?
Let's see. 110R is one that's noted for that. 1103P Paulson is noted for that. There's another one. Those are the 2 I'm most familiar with. This rootstock here, I believe, is 5BB, which is sort of a moderate, bigger rootstock. Tends to be planted in areas where there's a little more clay, a little less gravel. It can tolerate, you know, a wide range of soil moisture conditions.
How old are these vines?
These were planted in the fall of 05, right?
No, 4.
5 years.
It takes only 3 years. How long does it take for wine process?
Well, at least 2 years, even in ideal conditions. Really, you know, you're trying to grow a structure that can produce that's first of all got a healthy root system, a nice trunk, and then you start thinking about fruit. So generally, it's at least 2 years before you can start putting wood out on the wire.